Hey, it's Friday, everybody. Welcome to TableTakes presented by Gen Con. My name is Christian. I am here with Bonsai and Emma today. We're going to talk about some gaming news. So why don't we get things going? How was everybody's week, by the way? We're all doing good?
Yes.
Good. I was at a design retreat.
A design retreat?
Yeah, I was in a house an hour out of Portland with a bunch of nerds. And
I've heard bad things about them.
we
Those troublesome
barely
people.
left the house, just woke up at like 10 or 11 and
that's nice.
like worked on games, play tested games until 3 or 4 at night. So
That sounds amazing.
yeah,
It
it was
does.
great.
That sounds like my ideal day off, actually.
Very,
now that
yeah, I
think
know,
about it.
right? Very.
How about you,
creative
Bonsai?
week
Do
for
anything
fun.
super fun?
Yes, I went and pressed some cider because it's an autumn
Ooh.
thing. So one of my
Very
friends,
seasonal.
Yes, very seasonal. One of my friends actually is part of a brewing club, and so he's like invited all of us over to like press some apples, and I got like 4 jugs of fresh pressed Honeycrisp apple ciders, and now I'm gonna make some hard cider.
All right. So
Yeah.
some people design games, some people are making liquor. That's great.
That's what goes together.
Yeah.
I finished 3 video games this week that I started 2 years ago.
Ooh,
Nice.
nice.
Very productive.
What-
I have
video
this bad
game?
habit of going through, like I buy all the big AAA games as they
Yeah.
come out, and then I play them like until it's almost the last mission, and then I put them down and never touch them again because I don't want to see the end.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption.
Oh.
Didn't do that one this week. Still not ready to see that guy die.
Did you pet all the dogs?
Spoilers.
No, I didn't say which guy.
There.
That game is mostly just dudes.
That is-
Just dudes dying.
Just
but-
dudes
but-
dying all
no,
over the
no,
place.
no. The more
As long as it's
important,
not a horse.
it's
I don't want to see. I don't want to see it. I'm just gonna say I don't want to see it.
No, the most important feature in that game is that you can pet all the dogs.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But also, I've seen one where they pet the dog walks away and gets hit by a train.
What?
What are you watching?
I hate it.
It's called.
I hate
it's
it.
random generator.
Oh, that's awful.
The world.
All
the
right,
world
I'm
happens.
sure we have some gaming news to get through. So let's start with our headlines. Hey, have you heard of this game, Exploding Kittens?
Oh, what
haven't
is
heard
this
of it.
game?
Well, if you haven't, you will soon, because it's been a very popular game for a couple of years. But now they've taken a $30 million investment for growth, which means that they're trying to, I guess, explode the kittens even more than before.
Yeah.
Wow.
So America's favorite game about animal cruelty is about to get a big bump and a lot more eyes on it.
Ooh, that's hefty. $30 million.
$30 million is not a small chunk of change for a card game.
Yeah.
No,
and this is
and-
not an IP. This is not public investment. They just have they sold it to a company, it sounds like.
Right, but it's a,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a
IPO, that's the word I was looking
right,
for.
a minority stake, which is,
Yeah.
you know, obviously not complete control of the company.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah,
that's a lot of money.
That is,
Yeah.
and I think the company that they are affiliated with now is called the the TCG, because that's a hard word for
Yeah.
me.
The TCG?
Churnin Group, which is like if you know Churnin Group.
Churnin Group.
Words. But yeah, from what I understand, they're also people who just like invest in like nerdy entertainment.
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth, Crunchyroll, which
Heard
I
of
am a
those?
subscriber to.
Right. Now, they're basically picking up on IPs that have a lot of growth potential or have shown a lot of growth in the last couple of years. This is
Yeah.
a relatively new game, but they seem to think it's got some staying power and a lot of, you know, that they're trying to make it bigger. And who's played Exploding Kittens?
I played
I've played and also petted the kittens.
there.
At the
At the booth.
At the booth.
At PAX.
At
They
PAX.
brought
I didn't
kittens.
They
notice.
bring
to PAX.
kittens to PAX every now and then, and it's fun to try finding where they have all the kittens so you can go pet the kittens.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of adorable. And an
They have a lot of
interesting
great
way to sell a
marketing, we'll
game.
put it that way.
Yeah.
So I've played a little bit of it. Like
Yeah.
I said, I've played like maybe 2 or 3 games of it at this point. I'm not a huge fan.
It's
Like,
cute artwork.
It's cute. Like it's,
Yeah.
it's really cute.
yeah.
It's a mass market game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's something that's meant to be easily playable, easily pick upable. It's interesting. I've been talking to a lot of people about mass market games recently, and the whole idea of it is like you don't have to read the rules. So if you just picked up the cards and started
And
doing
just-
stuff, there'd be a good chance that you'd be able to figure it
I
out.
mean, well, and one of the main rules is that if you have this particular card that's exploding kittens,
Yeah.
you lose the game.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
there
it's
you
very
go.
simple.
Yeah.
I mean, just in terms of like the Oatmeal is the person who created this.
Right.
If I could ever sit down with somebody in terms of like mass marketing and a viral sense
Yeah.
of things, I would love to have a conversation with the creator.
Yeah.
Right, and like they're doing that convention this year or next year
Yes.
rather in May.
Or in-
Burning
The
Cat.
Burning Cat. Yeah.
Burning Cat.
Obviously, they based on Burning Man. It sounds like it's going to be big, silly fun.
Yeah.
I mean, 30
But I
million.
hate silly and I hate fun.
How
30
dare
million still sounds like a lot for a board game company. I mean, it makes me like, do you have movies in the works, like TV shows?
Yeah, probably the
mean-
mobile app version of the game is coming.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
This
that
is-
would. Oh, that would actually make
but
sense.
when you're investing that kind of money in something, you're trying to go for more than one platform.
Yeah.
For more than one platform, and they could start like a cartoon series as well, like do a Hello Kitty
Ooh.
almost esque. Cats, people like cats.
Yeah. It's true.
It's
yeah.
very
And
true.
people who don't like cats that explode.
There-
So
You're
this is
satisfying
really a
both
game
sides.
for everybody, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
So there you go. That's the news about the Exploding Kittens takeover.
The takeover.
Keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be exploding kittens everywhere. Emma,
Bonsai.
Oh,
We
Bonsai.
switched.
Oh,
yes,
you did switch,
yes,
right?
we did.
You guys, you're so sneaky.
Because there's so much news that are coming out. Hey, did you guys know that Riot just like threw out everything this week?
And we
they
will
did.
tie it back to board games.
Yes, we will
So-
tie it back to board games. But one of the games that Riot is releasing right now is the new Runeterra game that they're coming
Yeah.
out with. The TCG
Yeah, trading card game.
Trading card game that is all digital. So basically, you are going to be in charge of this card game. Is like you get to be in charge of 2 regions in the Terra or the Runeterra
Yeah.
universe, which is basically where League of Legends happens. This is their world. This is where they live in.
Yeah, which I've played League for years and did not know this. So
You did not know that the world that the League of Legends characters live in.
League.
Yeah.
They do their leaguing. They do
Their
their
leaguing.
leaguing is called Runeterra.
I did not know that.
They probably didn't tell you that because it's a stupid name.
There.
Oh God.
It is. It's a dumb name for a world, guys. It means a rune.
Rune World.
It's because they couldn't call it Rune World because it's
Yeah.
already out there, or they
Rune
couldn't call it
World.
Rune Wars
There's a
because that's
lot
already
of.
out there.
That's also all that. There's a lot of
RuneScape
runes.
already out there. They just
I mean, they could have flipped
like
it.
runes.
Like they could
Terra
have.
Rune. That would have
No. It could have been Aratiri. You know, the
Yeah.
the vampire.
Yeah.
The vampire.
like Alucard. Is
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, the
Backwards.
vampire. Just flip it backwards.
okay.
Creative.
I feel like yeah. All right.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah.
it's got the characters.
It's got some-
digital,
it
by
is
the way. I don't know if we
digital.
can
This is a
mention that.
digital
Yeah,
game.
this is a digital game. It's a digital card stacking game,
Mm-hmm.
or card builder game. And for the first releases that they have, they've got about 318 cards
Mm-hmm.
and 24 champions. That's going to be based on of the League of Legends main champions. And then later on, they're going to branch and expand past it. So they're kind of just doing this as a let's ease you into this game, and then throw more lore at you.
Yeah.
But yeah, each of the regions have different like focus groups on. So for example, let's see. For example, I can't remember. Some of them can be more aggro based because that's like the people that come out of there are more aggro or something like that. So you only can do 2 regions. Sorry,
Yeah.
that came out wrong. 2 regions,
great.
and it's set to release in 2020 of this year.
But they just like literally exploded this. It is playable. It is
Yes.
streamable.
Yeah, it's,
so a lot
it's
of,
already in beta. So.
Yeah.
It's in beta.
like I heard about it because people were like, oh, I need a key, and now it's all over Twitch and people are streaming this game. So you can check it out.
So
Yeah.
this is a completely digital card game.
Yes.
Yes.
With currently no plans for any physical card game coming out.
Nope.
No.
Not that we can tell. I mean, that's okay. So one of the cool things about this that I was looking and researching is that their monetization system is very interesting. There's like 2 really big main points that stuck out to me. Is that you can't, like, you know how mostly you buy like booster packs, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You can't buy booster packs here. You just basically grind to get cards, and then you get a chance to pay for a wild card. But the only reason, or the wild, or what they call wild cards, but you can only trade the same suit wild cards. So if you get a rare that you don't like, you basically have the chance to do wild card and randomize a new rare for yourself.
Cool.
So if you don't have rares to trade in, you cannot trade rares or legendaries.
All right. Yeah, you got to have money to make money, right?
Yeah, you have to actually earn the cards first. So
Right, right.
This game has already earned my ire, and it's not out yet.
It's not out yet.
Well, and part of the reason it's interesting is because we've talked about on the show previously how Riot is like putting out all these licenses for board game, tabletop games.
Yeah. Yes.
Again, with like Hearthstone never became physical, like this probably won't become physical, but it'll be interesting to see, like, if they are caring about making physical games, there could be some overlap with the IPs or like the
Of
characters.
course, if they make this into a physical game, they're gonna actually have to sell card packs at that point.
Right.
Well, but I don't think that's like, how would that physically, because with this kind of mechanic, you would have to have like somebody just have a packet of rares and it'd be like, all right, give me that rare. Now you can just choose randomly from this rare packet.
You can go to your local gaming hobby store or buy
Yeah.
them online from Amazon
They'll mail
or
you
something.
random ones. It'll just
If
be
they can
cardboard.
find a
just
way
random.
to charge you money for more cards, they will do it, I promise. This is not something you should be worried about at home.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, for those who wanted to join this game and get into the semi-closed beta, they are offering for people who have old League of Legends accounts to just go ahead and get the access. So as long as it's a very, like, it's a within a reasonable date of what they scheduled of like how old it has to be.
Interesting.
And then is still like an active kind of account, then here you go, you're in the beta.
They're trying to lure people back in.
Yes,
with
this is pretty much.
They're trying to get people to play more League of Legends.
Well, that's what everything comes back to.
Right.
I mean, I signed up for Teamfight Tactics and I started playing League of Legends. I played like once. I was like, no. And then I was all of a sudden I blacked out.
So
and
now
I was
they're
playing
putting
League
out a
of
brand new game
Legends.
that'll get us to play more League of Legends. I
Yeah.
think that's fantastic. Man, marketing is an amazing tool, and we should be using it more often, guys.
Marketing. I mean, I wonder what this is going to do in terms of like shaking up the Arena and Hearthstone kind of communities. You think it will?
It's
Especially the
impossible.
Hearthstone.
I mean, it's another thing for them to complain about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh.
yes, of
Yeah.
course, it'll shake it up a little bit. We'll, when we're on the internet, we want to complain about the things we don't like or the things that are different than the things that we do like.
But we also complain about the things that we like.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we
even
also-
more than that, we complain about the things that we like.
Always.
That's just how it's done.
Constantly complaining.
Yay!
Yay. But yeah.
Any other news about that particular game?
I think that's it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Upper Deck is revealed four new expansions for their Marvel Upper Deck game that are all going to be dealing with new parts of the world. It's big fun. They're adding the Spider-Verse. They're doing the whole First Family Fantastic Four themed one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Omega level mutants for the X-Men, and I think that might be it. But those will all be out by December. So
Cool.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if you're into the Marvel versus system.
All the
I've got
Marvels.
2 friends that are.
Nice.
They seem to really like it. I won't play it with them. I'm going with my grumpy old gamer shtick today. I really feel like I'm wearing it like
There you
a
go.
comfortable sweater.
Yeah.
Like I had a
Comfy,
bad
comfy.
week and now I want to complain about something.
Yeah.
And so I might as well just be
It's
all of these
cathartic,
games. Yeah, no,
right?
this is making me
Feels
feel
good.
good, guys.
Well, that's good then. It's whatever makes you happy.
All right, Wizards of the Coast
Ooh.
has news.
What-
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
Oh,
Yeah.
surprise.
You're making announcements?
Announcements, I know, right? So new dates have been announced for new Magic sets, which is always exciting to know when the stuff we've heard a little bit about is going to come out. Theros Beyond Death is the next upcoming set. It's going to be pre-release event set for January 17th to January 19th. It's going to be released officially on January 24th, which means you'll be playable on Arena before that, which is typically the case. Ikoria, Lair of the Behemoths pre-release events April 17th to April 19th, with the set officially releasing on April 24th. We talked a little bit about these sets coming up. The Theros, obviously, is a world that's been around for a while.
Yeah.
About 7 years ago, I believe, was the first Theros release. So going back to ancient Greek themed
Ooh.
set. So recently we had Amonkhet with the Egyptian flavor to it, fairy tales, which is just like,
I still think
It's such a
that's
cool theme.
I think that's such a cool theme.
yeah. I mean, the more I play
Fairy
it, and the
tales.
more, and it's got like people who aren't even into Magic, are just like, oh, fairy
It
tales.
got me interested.
Yeah.
Or the Shrek.
Even if
Shrek
it was
deck.
just for that one day.
Shrek deck, yeah.
The Shrek deck.
The Shrek deck, yeah.
Yeah.
Got
Yes.
a lot of layers.
And
Yes.
Ikoria is actually a completely new world, and we'll have a create a monster mechanic, which makes me feel about the Unglued set, where you'd have like half a creature, like half a adorable kitten, and then half of a raging dragon. and
That sounds like
mix them
exactly the kind of
together.
monster
Mix
that you
them
would make.
together.
up.
Yes.
An adorable
Yes.
kitten mixed with a raging
Yeah,
dragon.
with a murder lady somewhere in between. So.
Oh, there's always a murder.
I just
lady
figured you would
somewhere.
be the murder lady standing next to it, petting the kitten dragon.
Yes.
You know.
Hidden dragon.
Yeah, so new sets to look forward to, and they are giving more information too, which they're announcing these things earlier and earlier, so you can just the never-ending hype train. Now that the recent set Eldraine is out in the world, people are already like itching for spoilers. Like, I need my spoilers. I need my spoilers. It's like, you just got all the new cards. Like, I don't even care. I hate those now. Like, I don't want to play with this at all. I just want this stuff.
I already bought those.
Yes.
It's the Christmas season coming up soon.
We just drool over the future.
Is that why the marketing is picking up on everything? 'Cause, like, Christmas season? Is that still a thing? Are we still doing the Christmas season?
Yeah, I mean,
Big
it's,
retail spending spree?
Yeah, they have the holiday box, Wizards.
Yeah,
for the-
right.
Oh yeah, they do.
I can't wait till we announce all of those. That's
Yeah.
going to be super cool.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for Wizards news today.
All right, so that's great. We got Wizards news out of the way. We got all of our headlines out of the way. If only we had some special guests to bring on.
I wonder, do we?
Oh my
In
gosh.
fact, we do. I would like to welcome to our table today for some table taking Will and Jordan from
magic.
Privateer Press. Guys, how's you doing?
Good. Going good.
Good to be back. I brought somebody with me this time.
Yeah, it's okay. I showed up this time.
Hello.
Not like last
Nice to
time
meet
when
you
were
guys.
here.
I brought an artist. Jordan's our head studio painter. So all the miniatures you're seeing that we're talking about today and that you see get shown over the last year basically has been you.
Yeah, ever since the end of August last year,
Yeah.
it's basically been just me.
So
I've had a little
he
bit
comes
of
in the office and paints 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 40 hours of just painting
Been a
miniatures.
lot.
Well, how's the carpal tunnel going?
It's actually totally fine. Just
Awesome.
Good to
Do-
do stretches
do
in
you
the morning.
just-
You see,
go.
professional.
That's it. This is,
Professional.
I like to know the difference
Yeah.
You
between
eat all the
professionals
bananas
and
with
hobbyists.
potassium, right, to fix it?
No.
No.
There.
Do you
I
do
probably should eat
Do you
more
do the
than
thing where you put your hand on the wall and push? I heard that's good for carpal tunnel too. No.
Honestly, I don't even do stretches.
What?
I just know that I
It
should
was
be.
a lie.
It was
It's a lie.
Your wrist hurts every once in
He
a while.
has the
Yeah.
pro
It's
level
not too bad.
knowledge, so he knows that he could be doing stretches and that
No.
they would
He just
help.
He
definitely
just chooses
should.
not to.
Yeah. That's cool because I saw I interviewed you at Gen Con
Yeah.
and like saw the things. I believe I've seen your work then for the pieces.
Yeah.
They were very nice. I was just like, it's like I want to play this game, but I can never make them look this nice.
Yeah. I mean that's.
But I'm
so-
getting over that, right? Because
Yeah, I mean it's
you
just
so
time,
anyone can
right?
paint.
Yeah, anybody can paint. It's just you got to pick. You got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And getting past that initial first jump. I mean, we were talking a little bit before the show. You know,
Yeah.
You've never painted.
Right.
We haven't talked about painting yet.
I have painted.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I've
talking about.
I
painted.
painted
before.
one thing.
That's true. You did mention you
I did
painted one
paint
thing.
one thing.
I got to get more.
And
Yeah.
it looks
More
terrible.
But it's not too bad. Like
There-
you put in a little bit of time,
It's all
learning
about
some
the
techniques,
layers. You gotta layer.
Done is better than incomplete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? Like it'll always look better than bare metal.
Yeah.
And Jordan, like we do streams at Privateer Press weekly. Like on Wednesdays, myself and Oz, we're the development team, so we get on and talk about rules and stuff. And Thursdays is Get Your Paint On with Jordan. And so he live chats with everyone as you paint a miniature. And usually I'm
that's
on
so
there
cool.
modding. And like people will ask questions of like, I'm trying to get this color or this technique, and you help them out. So like for people wanting to learn, there's ours, and there's a lot of streams out there right now with painters that get on.
But the fact that you can get on there with the miniature stuff as a professional and kind of Bob Ross people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a,
Well,
It's
and
modern live Bob Ross.
Yeah.
And we've
well, I mean that in a very positive way. Like Bob Ross taught
No.
millions of people how to paint in this
Bob Ross
country.
is
and-
a treasure.
Yeah.
He's a treasure. All the happy.
So
It's like I will hear no bad mouthing of Bob Ross.
if for anyone out there is intimidated by painting, and especially like we make hobby miniatures, so we try to educate people as much as we can. On top of all the online resources, hit a stream up these days and talk to somebody. Talk to a painter, talk to a Jordan or whoever, because I haven't met a mean painter yet. It seems like it's just in the
we're all,
DNA.
we're all really nice folks.
Oh no, I know lots of mean painters.
Oh, do you?
Okay.
They're all
Professional ones?
fantasy artists. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's different. That's
There's
different.
some mean ones. I'm saying.
Minis painters.
I mean, our stream.
You
for
catch
the last,
Larry Elmore on a bad day. He's not going to be nice.
our stream for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, like we've been actually adding another person because traditionally I've just been painting by myself, and we just added another person on who's our host generally, Tony Konchak, and it's been
Tony.
really cool. Yeah, it's been really
Tony's
cool
a
to
good
like
guy.
get on stream together and like walk through the process side by side.
It's like it's
It's
just
been really cool.
It's split screen, so you see the pro on one side, and you see Tony, which is like I would say like amateur, like intermediate on the other side. And so somebody following along doesn't get intimidated by this kid's work. They look at Tony or someone like me being like, I'm painting. And they're like, I can do that.
Let me just make some blood splatter. Like
Yeah.
So it's
That's
really nice.
really my whole technique.
Yeah.
Splat. Flick it.
But we brought some cool stuff to show y'all
Yeah,
today.
well,
Yeah, show
and
us.
So we have some miniatures from the core 3 lines, and then we have a big announcement that's actually exclusive to y'all's show.
Which is why you're here.
Which is why we're here.
You've got big news coming. But
My-
let's
my
go through the
favorite
miniatures first before my excitement explodes.
Yes.
So
Okay.
our 3 core lines are War Machine, Monster Apocalypse, and Riot Quest. And we have like the RPGs and we have board games we make, but these are the ones that you're seeing monthly content for.
Yeah.
Right.
And they kind of go in complexity order. War Machine is the most complex we make. Big army game played on a 4x4 table for people that want to collect giant, stunning armies. Monpoc.
And they're beautiful pieces too.
Right,
Like they have been since they first came out. They're some of the best looking miniatures out there.
We have we pride ourselves on the amount of detail that we pack into metal
Yes.
and resin miniatures. Monpoc is more of a board game. It's kaiju. It's a kaiju fight game. So
Monpoc is Monster Apocalypse, right?
yeah, Monster
Yeah.
Apocalypse.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about a different game for a second because you're short.
No, sorry.
It's like I feel so industry right now.
I'm so used to everyone just calling it Monpoc.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
It's a good
But
name. It's a good shortened name.
It
yeah.
plays on a board, and in this game, you collect a couple giant monsters, giant monkeys, giant lizards, giant Martians, giant robots, name it all,
Yeah.
giant ninjas.
Is
and
there
then
a giant lady? Because that's my
There
favorite.
is.
That's
Oh,
my favorite.
we just
movie
put her out.
monster.
It was the Gen Con
Just a
model for
giant
this year.
lady?
It was
Yeah,
the
Attack
best.
of the 50-foot woman.
Yeah.
So Sergeant Titanica came out at Gen Con, and she
Ooh.
actually is holding, the RAM in Gen Con, right? The restaurant. She's got the RAM building, and she's drinking out of it. Like she's put it.
No, she's standing on the building. She's got
but she's got
a
the-
truck.
Oh,
It's
it's
got beer in it.
and she's drinking out of her
hand. Yeah,
Beautiful.
But
It's
it is
cracked
it is the
open.
50. Well, for our scale, it's the 50-story woman.
Right.
But she has like an army helmet on, like a military experiment went wrong, and she just like got super huge.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's more of a quick, like maybe 1 hour board game, 1v1, where you're destroying a city made of models and trying to kill each other's monsters. And then
Again, with beautifully
Built like
beautiful
resin-
miniatures, if you can call them that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then our third core game is Riot Quest, which Em and I played at Gen Con.
Yes, and we played on here. We had the models.
We had the
on
models.
here
Yeah,
for-
I've only heard about this, so.
It is a super casual arena-style, MOBA-style miniature game where you have a crew of heroes. There's no point values. You just build your crew of heroes, and they're teleporting into an arena as the opponent, and you're running around trying to collect treasure chests, beat each other up, score this ever-changing group of bounties, and the game plays in like 20 minutes. It's,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
nice.
super fast, and it plays up to 4 people. It's a very chaotic, casual beer and pretzels game.
Yeah.
So we got like War Machine, pure strategy, Riot Quest,
Right.
and Monster
I know some War
Apocalypse
Machine
is in the
titles.
middle.
They're very
Yeah.
serious.
But
Yeah.
we wanted to show off some of the upcoming miniatures.
Yeah,
Do you want to get
absolutely.
this, or do you want to get it?
I can start with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
Which
What's your
one?
favorite of the group?
Of the group?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, what's your favorite child?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You painted all these. So
I
you
did.
tell me.
all
I did
have
paint
one.
them all. I think my favorite is Pterodax.
So we do the Monster Apocalypse ones first.
Monster
Monpoc.
Apocalypse.
Let's start Monpoc.
So these are monsters from Monster Apocalypse. The normal little units, because you bring like little tanks and stuff, they're usually about like this big. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. But your monsters always tower over everything else. And these are 2 of the main monsters for the Martians. This is Tharsis 5, who is this giant, weird alien Martian who has the little tractor beam. I don't know if the camera can see that on the bottom. So he's rolling along like sucking cars and materials up.
Nice.
And then
Oh, okay.
he's like a floating factory. He's like sucking things up and then changing them and then spitting things back out.
Nice.
And then on the more primal side of things, he's a destroyer. This is a protector, so one of the good guys. We have Pterodax, who, if you've ever watched any old Godzilla movies, you can probably see who he's inspired by. This is just a
know what you're talking
giant
about.
pterodactyl.
What? I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah.
Never.
That's a beautiful looking monster, but that Martian is somehow like horrifying in a very hentai way.
Jordan, what did you do?
It's not my fault.
No, I mean it's just like it's alien and otherworldly, and
Yeah.
it probably has tentacles I don't want to know about.
In game-wise, Tharsis is really like he kind of rolls through and just destroys things and sucks things up. My favorite thing about Pterodax though is his whole shtick is grabbing other monsters, flying across the board with them, and dropping them into buildings.
That's beautiful.
Like
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing about Monster Apocalypse is just
Yeah.
blowing buildings up by throwing
Yeah.
monsters into them.
Throw more monsters. All the
I want to
monsters.
destroy buildings. This looks like my
Yeah.
game right now.
Yeah.
it is so much fun.
It's
Monster
probably my game.
Apocalypse. Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Do
And
you want to see the
Plus, I can call it Monpoc.
Mon-
you can call him
That's so
Monpoc.
cool. Yeah.
It's a great
Monpoc.
abbreviation.
We're in the inner circle now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man,
we're
this
cool.
thing is actually really terrifying.
I could imagine putting like some glow in the dark
I like that it looks like it's
Teachers
kind of
on
a
there,
malicious
too.
Yeah,
element.
absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
so our modding and converting community, like our painting community, is really creative, and putting LEDs inside models has become a big thing.
What?
Right.
How
I've
do
seen
they-
some beautiful.
So these are resin pieces. This I feel like it started with Gunpla originally, like Gundam,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
people were doing that, and they were like, well, I can do that with a resin miniature. So we've got like Tyson from Vegas. He's a big modder, and he loves to do things like completely hollow the inside of this out, replace like say these little spines back here, and then the bottom with LED lights, and then turn it on. He's had miniatures that play music. Like he built like a Bluetooth chip in the bottom.
Yeah.
What?
That's really cool.
There's a model that's like a weird construct bird. It's called a clockatrice. So it's like a cockatrice.
That's
and it's got a big clock in the center of it. So he actually built one that has a functional clock in the chest.
What?
Yeah,
Like
it's
our,
super cool.
Our community is like
The
they're
level of-
crazy.
just the level of talent in your fan community.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty amazing paint jobs on, not just Mom Pock monsters, but like throughout the range.
well, and that's
right?
not just our miniatures. That's the cool thing about hobby miniatures as a community. No matter which game you play, like tabletop games, we've got our RPGers, our card gamers, our model, but everybody kind of flows together. And if you're ever looking for like real crazy creativity, the hobby miniature community is really
absolutely.
they're constantly innovating because they've got physical materials to work with and play around
Oh,
with.
yeah.
And you'll see these dioramas.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool because it flows into the RPG community because people are like, I would love that for D&D.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So
Of course, yeah. No, I see most of these miniatures. When I see them, I'm like, I want to have that in my D&D game.
there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
That's actually
Yeah,
so
that would be.
War Machine models, because it's fantasy steampunk. We see a lot of these get used in D&D, and also we have the Iron Kingdoms RPG line,
Yeah.
which people play. So our big releases right now is we're putting out the Infernals, which are basically the demons of the setting, and then we're putting out the Order of Illumination, which are the traditional witch hunters / like good guy paladin types that are trying to come up and fight them.
Yeah.
And so one of our newest models, which you've just finished last night.
Yeah.
How long did this take you? How long did you spend last night just painting this miniature?
Was it 5 minutes?
No.
Was it 6?
Was it?
I left work at like 8:30 or something.
Oh, that's
Okay.
It wasn't that bad.
It was one of your midnight nights.
No.
Okay.
No.
This is Gabriel Throne, and so he is the Grand Master of the Order of Illumination, and he is basically good guy demon hunter riding around on his steed.
Oh, he has
I feel like he's got secrets.
He does. He does.
He has the
But he
Fabio
has
hair.
secrets for the betterment of
Yeah.
humanity.
He's got the Fabio hair. That's,
And the sword and
Yeah.
the pistol.
I absolutely love our mounted models.
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
so good.
These are really good.
Yeah.
I think for people play War Machine are very excited right now by Infernals and Order of Illumination, but I also think for RPGers, there's a lot of good demon-esque and witch hunter-esque models coming out of the line right now.
Because of the Infernals and what were the other?
The Order of Illumination.
The Order of Illumination.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
okay.
got a 5 o'clock shadow on this dude too.
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
got the
Did you paint stubble on him?
Yeah, of course I did.
Pro painter.
He's a
See?
rugged human being.
He's a rugged.
Are you a witch?
No.
How do you paint stubble?
There's stubble on there.
Just glaze it on.
You just glaze. Oh, of course.
Glaze it on.
That's what I do with mine.
Yeah, you just glaze it on.
Yeah.
It's a little
mean,
spackle and
It's
fur.
just about the
Not that I would know
Yeah.
anything about 5 o'clock shadow.
You have a luscious beard.
Oh, thank you.
Very, very luscious. Oh, even the horse
Fine,
has.
Say nothing about mine.
Oh,
We have to-
You also have a luscious beard.
That's better.
you know what? Your manscaping prettiness is very, very noticeable.
I didn't even think that showed on camera. I'm so sorry.
Oh wait, is that not the face?
No, it's a different thing.
Oh,
That is
Definitely
a.
I totally thought it was.
I mean, it can be beard.
Thanks,
I
Bonsai.
thought it was a beard.
Luckily, we're not live. It'll be
It
fine.
is a beard of sorts. We,
You learn something new every day. Well, look, I'll help you get out of this awkward one.
let's,
Let's move on to the next set of miniatures.
great idea.
Let's talk about Riot Quest, shall we?
So Riot Quest is getting not just hero expansion. There's a core set that gets you the arena to play in, and then you buy individual heroes. But we're also putting out bigger expansions that we want to add cool things to your game. As Em and I had played at the Gen Con one of the things you're running around is going around and collecting treasure. And in the game, there's little tokens you put on the board that represent the different treasure chest types. Well, we decided to make miniatures of them and put out a treasure chest set so that people that wanted actual physically represented miniatures of their treasure chests could get it. We're doing the same thing with the spawn gates and other aspects of the board. So you'll have a flat neoprene mat, but we're going to sell resin miniatures you can replace almost all the game tokens with to have a cooler looking experience. And all the expansions also come with a hero in the box. And this one comes with Flugwug, who is a croak thief who uses his sticky tongue to go in between like bars and stuff and grab diamonds and yank them back out.
Oh,
The Riot Quest characters are all very cartoony, lovable.
Yeah.
The game is Saturday morning
Much like
cartoon.
us, I feel.
Listen to this.
It's like post-apocalypse Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
This is like a landmine.
Awesome.
The tokens are great. They're functional.
It's like the head of
but
a Dalek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These
That's a dolphin.
freaking chests.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, just like
There's like the traditional treasure chest.
There you
Yeah.
go.
There's like the puzzle box chest.
Oh, this is gonna be opening to a hell dimension, isn't it?
Not in
Yeah.
this game. This game's a little PG rated for,
Oh,
for hell
okay.
dimensions.
it's a hex
It's a heck
dimension.
dimension, right?
Don't touch that button because you
It is
might,
not hands
But-
that bring
crunch
us.
your hand.
There's
It's such a pretty button.
There's a little iron vault. There's a little trap chest that has like a bear traps on it, and then the hidden
That bear
one.
trap chest is my favorite.
And right now, our
absolutely
community
am in love
is
with that.
deciding who is the cutest Riot Quest model. If it's,
Important question. I'm here for this question.
Oh yeah, it's Gubbin, the little
Yes.
goblin
Yeah.
with the
I have mine.
explosives,
Mhm.
or Flugwug.
Flugwug,
And right
yeah,
now they are.
Flugwug.
Can I get a closer look
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Flugwug?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes me so happy. It's like, who's the cutest character
Oh,
in here?
he's
This is
ugly
we need
cute.
to know.
I like ugly
Ugly
cute.
cute.
That's one of my
Oh,
favorites.
yeah.
Ugly cute. It's got a great
Gubbin's
name
got
too.
a
Well,
soft spot in
a
my
new
heart,
contender
though.
to show.
His
The newest
tongue is in his eye right now.
Yeah, he's just licking his eye.
Keeping his eye nice and moist.
Yeah.
The new cute contender we just showed was the pygmy tanks. We put out
Oh, yeah.
little snub-nosed metal slug style tanks on large bases that have little pygmy trolls popping out the top and like charging and being like, and those are coming out in a couple months. And everyone's like, Gubbin, Flugwug, or Pig Tank?
Oh my gosh.
Who's the cutest?
That is
Chat thinks Gubbin.
adorable.
Chat loves Gubbin. I mean, he's a little goblin with full of explosives.
Gubbin
Yeah.
was the first model that I painted for this game, so he will
Oh.
always have a soft spot in my heart.
Yeah.
Because I love
Yeah.
that model.
Oh,
I love
Gubbin.
that model so much.
But Flugwug sounds like you're saying a bad word.
Flugwug,
Flugwug?
but in a PG way.
In a
right?
PG way, yeah.
Not what we were aiming for.
It's like
Oh,
shoot.
The,
No, you're good.
the coolest thing about this game is, we've got our War Machine community that likes the deep strategy, and we've got Monpok for the Riot Kaiju fans. Our Facebook group for Riot Quest just keeps gaining more and more people. We're seeing people playing with their kids. Like this,
Yeah.
and Privateers traditionally made crunchier games.
Yeah.
And so now we've got this game that there's one guy who has played 12 games with his daughter, and he's like, I legitimately can't beat her. I'm not letting her win. She's 5. And then he posted a video of their last game where she scored the winning roll, and she jumped up at the table and did a lap around the table going, I beat daddy, I beat daddy. And I was like, I'm glad we have
That
this.
is amazing.
So, obviously, it's good for anybody of any age, but for parents that are looking for something
yeah.
a little simpler to play with their kids and want to introduce them to what miniatures are, this is a good game.
So you can go
to
right
pass-
from shoots and ladders to.
Maybe
Yeah.
not shoots and ladders.
Maybe not shoots and ladders. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's
That's
also a
fun.
good transition from this to role-playing games because you can introduce them to miniatures and then play your first game of IK or D&D with the
Yeah.
kid because that's also getting really popular with children.
Yeah.
And then they'll be used to playing with these little bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So quick and easy to
I
use.
will say from a marketing perspective as well, I'm sure this wasn't intentional, but a bunch of really cool chests that, hey, chests are awesome, and it's like, oh, well, you get the character in there as well with all the chests. So you like, if you buy it for the chest, it's like, oh, I have this thing as well.
It
Yeah.
was 100% intentional. Absolutely.
I mean, because it's just the bits on there. Like, I think just like, even just like on your shelf of like
Yeah.
making a little thing of like fantasy world with like characters opening chests and
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
So these are all the things coming up, but the big announcement we want to tell everybody about, which ties into what we've been talking about, Jordan painting and painting
Yeah.
these miniatures.
Oh, you're a painter?
Oh, you
Oh,
paint?
no, not at all. So
No,
definitely
no,
don't paint
no.
at all.
Jordan, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll
Go for
talk
it.
about this.
All
So
right, here it is.
The big
We have-
announcement.
a couple of things that we're going to show off here, but the big announcement is we've got 24 new paints coming out next year to add to our existing line, which is massive already. But we have a lot of really interesting new paints. One of the sets that I brought with us today are the paints for the Planet Eaters faction
For Mouse
of the
Apocalypse.
Destroyer's Agenda for Mouse Apocalypse. So if you are familiar with the game at all, you'll definitely notice that these two colors are the skin tone
Yes.
for the Planet Eaters, and then this is the green glow. I also use this green glow painting Tharsis 5.
Yeah, you get all the little deep crevices and like.
Yeah, I basically started this guy off of a white base coat, and then I just glazed all this beautiful neon green ink into the kind of like exposed circuitry that's all
Nice.
glowing.
Yeah.
It does a really great job of like making that pop out.
Honestly, I'm
So,
excited about these.
Is this a separate line, or is this adding to your current paint line?
Adding to the current
Adding
paint
to
line.
the
So
current,
the P3 paint line has been around for a while now. I think it might be over a decade at this point.
It's been around for a long time.
And it's got, I want to say, about 80-ish paints in it. So most of the core colors are covered. You know, you're just basic greens, breads, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
So we're able to get really creative now. And so we're basically increasing the size by a fourth of new paints of what it currently is.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get 25% more paint than you had before.
And we're getting to add some like crazy colors that we didn't really do. Like
Yeah,
this neon green wash blows my mind.
Yeah.
like
it
we have
is
a green
super
ink.
green.
It's
ink,
an ink.
yeah, that's the
yeah,
cool
Yeah,
thing.
it's an ink. Yeah,
Super green.
We have a green ink that's much darker than this.
like
it's very
like
blue.
forest, right? It's kind of a dark foresty green.
Yeah, it's a dark foresty green that's got a lot of like blue. Like when you thin it out, it's got a lot of blue in it. And we've got a yellow ink. But even if you mix the yellow and green ink together, like it is still way different than this. Like, it turns out really yellow, but this is very much green. Right?
That's like emerald green.
Yeah, and it doesn't require any additional mixing. Like you just right out of the pot, there you go.
Yeah.
Which is one of the nice things about kind of what we're coming up with the new 25.
You do want to know if there's a hot pink out there.
There is.
Oh,
there is a hot pink.
there is a hot pink.
There you go, chat. Now you know.
Now you know.
I think this color in
We ask
particular.
the tough questions here on TableTakes.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah,
color
there's
is going to be
definitely
great for people doing ghosts.
Oh,
for-
ectoplasm.
For their RPGs, exactly.
Yeah.
And for people that do, like, say, skeletons, they want to do, like, the green glowing eyes.
Yep.
A couple dots of this, just literally, like, boop, boop.
Yeah,
and
you
you'll
just
have
paint white,
it.
and then you just put a little drop of this in, and it goes into the recesses, paints the eye green. It's great.
Nice.
But in addition to things like the protector or not protector, planet eater colors, too many P's. We
Too many
have
P's at Privateer Press?
The Privateer Press P3 paint line?
Yeah,
there's a lot of P's in our stuff. So we have Royal Violet, which is a new.
That
color
is a
coming out.
beautiful
This
violet.
is
Which
very
get that before the
violet.
show, and
Yeah.
So we have two purples that exist right now in the range, and none of them are anywhere close to this. We have a really rich, deep, dark purple, which is a beaten purple, and then we have a new kind of bluish purple that we released a couple months ago with the Infernals release. And
This is like full on lavender.
yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's
is just
a
straight up
lavender.
like a
Gorgeous.
lavender color. Yeah. Then we have Caspian blue, which is a really neutral blue. So we have blues that kind of go towards different sides of the color wheel, but we don't really have one that hits very much in the middle.
It's more of a true blue.
Yeah,
It's
this
a true
This is
blue.
a really true blue.
And I love this.
And then this is, you talk about this one. This is your favorite color.
So if people can't tell, this is gold. This is metallic gold. This is possibly the brightest metallic gold paint I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's very much a white gold.
Yeah, and this is for
Yeah,
people
yeah.
that want to do radiant colors. Like if you're painting a paladin that has their shield or their sword in the air, you want to do like gleaming gold, pure lawful good, like,
Yeah.
holy avenger in the air.
The purest
Brand new
gold.
C-3PO.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
3PO, like this is that color, and I've never seen, and if you can't tell, it has metallic flakes in it, so you will get that shine to it. Whatever
Yeah,
you
it's
put
got a
this
little
on.
bit of that like
Luster.
That
semi-metallic going on.
mica powder kind of look.
Yeah.
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 But it's really nice. It's very bright.
But for 2020, we're putting out basically these paints. We're going to aim to put out a set every quarter. So throughout 2020, you're going to see all these new paints, including the hot pink.
Yep.
And what is there any other really weird ones we're putting out?
Weird ones.
What is the weirdest one you can announce?
the weirdest
I'm
one?
just going to
that
put you
I
on the
can
spot like
announce?
that.
There. Yeah. That's not a
Tell
secret.
us.
There's secrets.
We'll
as
give
well.
him a few minutes to think about that.
I don't know about weird, but I can announce that we are releasing some of the iconic colors from our factions as pre-mixed pots.
Oh,
so
cool.
Historically, a lot of the colors that are like our faction colors. So a great example of this is the Retribution White, which is like a really kind of off-white.
You
It's
describe
it.
It's a
Eggshell?
hard color to describe. It's like a
My eyes cross when I look
dirty
at it. It's
eggshell?
hard to.
yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's more to the white spectrum than it is the like blue
The
spectrum to
gr-
the
Oh,
yellow.
it's a blue. Okay.
Yeah, it's more blue white
So it's
than
like
it
a
is
really
yellow white.
light baby blue. or white baby?
It's white. It is definitely white, but it
But-
has that like
It's like
undertone
the
of
shadows on freshly fallen snow.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
that
a pretty
one's
good way for it.
so
That is the
poetic.
best description I've
blue.
ever
That is
heard
That's
for
an
it.
very-
incredibly good description for it.
Will you write copy for me from now on? That was
Yeah.
I'm
amazing.
a writer.
But yeah, it's a mix of two other colors that we have in the range, and for a lot of people who are newer to painting, like mixing colors together is a really daunting task. So one of the things that we really want to do is eliminate that difficulty,
yeah.
right? So we have a lot of those recipes that require mixing for the base colors
Yeah.
for these factions that we've moved into their own individual paint.
Nice.
So
It'll make
Expect
if
some
you-
of
if-
those.
If you're playing those particular games, it's going to make that painting your faction much easier.
yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's cool. And plus, hot pink. So now
And
we
hot pink,
So
which
hopefully,
I'm super excited
so hopefully
about.
we can see like a Pterodax in hot pink maybe. Or this guy in hot pink and then electric blue insides.
Yeah.
Just straight 80s Miami neon.
Or just like
Nice.
black armor. With
Wait,
the-
yeah. How is it now going to be like just going to have a neon line? You can just have all the neon.
That would be, hey, that's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
I'll take
Do
that
it.
back to the office.
Neon
See what we
orange.
can cook
I,
up.
I request neon orange.
Neon
Just-
orange?
Just for no reason.
None whatsoever.
No reason. There's no reason.
The thing that excites me about this is, like we had talked about before the show, I've painted a little bit of terrain. I haven't painted minis before. I have all the paints. I bought literally everything. I assembled them. Just like getting over that last hump has been a little intimidating. But I wanted my character. I have, for like little bug things. I'm like, there's this like, oh, it could be brown or also brown or maybe green. It's like I want a hot pink.
Yep.
I want like purple streaks. I want to like have my personality into this mini character. And for a lot of paint lines, it's like, oh, you have gray, metal, grim, dark death. Like that's the color palettes of minis, you know?
Yep.
So
Also, most of my wardrobe.
that's, yeah.
You're pretty bright right now.
Right?
You're looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Believe me, it was requested.
Oh, okay.
But there's an assumption there, right? That it's like, this is what minis should look like. So I think by making these colors of paints, like you're making a statement, right? Minis can be whatever you want them to be, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
It also
absolutely.
really
You
fits a lot
taught
of
me
our
that,
new
you
line.
know.
That minis can be whatever you want them.
Minis can be whatever you want. Like
Yeah.
when I first started here, I would rage against the minis all the time because it's just like I wanted them when I was a kid, but they were just so expensive that there was no way I was ever going to have them. So
Yeah.
I started off like, oh, mini games. Now I'm all about them. I think
Yeah.
and it's because they can be whatever you want them to be.
And there's so many.
Yeah.
Miniatures have gotten really cheap depending on what you're looking to pick up.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're
I
literally like,
found that out too.
right, if you're like, I need a warrior for my D&D game.
Yeah.
$2 later, you're set, right? Or you can go spend $50 and get something super nice. It just depends on what you want. Like,
Yeah.
the more accessible we make this part of the tabletop industry, the better, I
Yeah.
think. And like you said, like making more paints to make it more accessible, people will bring more people in because we know it is daunting, and we want to try and encourage people. Just try it.
Yeah.
Just dip
Yeah.
a brush in one of these. Put it on the miniature. It won't hurt
do
you.
it. Just open the
it won't
paint you
set on
already
fire.
have. Yeah.
You're not gonna die.
No,
You'll
definitely
be
not.
fine.
This is in
2
my
minutes.
head, by the way, all of these things
Ooh.
happening.
Oh, and like the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not gonna have it
fire.
cause a
Trying
chemical
to
reaction.
mix that white together and it just combusts.
I think a lot of people are worried that they're going to ruin it, right?
Yeah,
And-
I mean,
and-
that's
and
the
it's just
biggest
like
thing, right?
Well, you pay that much money for a miniature and you don't know how to paint, and you're like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
how do
but-
I not ruin this?
Put the time into assembling it too, because
Yeah.
that was kind of hard
I
as
mean,
well.
I even have pieces at home that I have just in a box that I haven't started because I'm like, I don't want to mess this up.
You.
Like even me, me. Like I have situations like that all the time.
So that anxiety is something that even you go through.
Yeah.
What blows my mind is that you go home and paint. Like after 8 hours a day of painting, you go home and you're like, time to relax.
Paint.
sit at my standing desk.
Like I imagine you would do
Paint
something
more.
completely different. Like I'm gonna go out hunting tonight. Like do something on the polar opposite end.
Hey, you know what? You gotta love for something. You gotta do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is.
So anything else like dates or?
so I have no
release?
dates yet.
Yeah.
Well, we talked
They have
about it a
apps
little bit
for
earlier.
that if you-
There's-
All
We
kinds.
are releasing 24 new paints next year.
nice.
So 2020.
Yeah.
We don't have
Quarterly.
Quarterly
Yeah.
is the current game plan. we
like
don't
6
have
at
any
a time?
specific.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Hopefully.
break it down.
I mean,
right?
if there's
Yeah.
24 of them and there's 4 quarters.
There.
Makes sense. Yeah. So
I did the math
this,
there. In
this
my
is
head.
not.
Can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, this is
Christian.
not necessarily the first 6. This is a selection throughout kind of the releases that we want to do.
Ooh.
Just to kind of give an indication of what our plans are
Yeah.
for the addition to the range. But yeah, expect some more news on that.
Yeah.
Hopefully soon.
And I would say anybody watching, like, shows like this are great to learn about this kind of stuff. And if you want specific hobby tips, come watch Jordan on his stream.
What is this channel?
So,
Privateer-
it's on
Tell us
Privateer
where we
Press.
can watch you every week too.
You can watch this at twitch.tv/privateerpress.
Privateer
If you want to talk game design, come watch me and Oz on Wednesdays. We talk about game design philosophy and also announce usually rules and what we're working on. And if you want to talk painting, come talk to Jordan
Get
on
Your Paint On
Thursdays.
is the show that we have on Thursday.
Is
Oh,
that
what's the time?
10 a.m.
It's
Pacific.
10
on-
a.m. Pacific.
on both days.
Okay, 10 a.m. To whenever, yeah.
Yeah, until we're
It's-
done.
Ours is, or his is when they're done. Or ours is about an hour.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
And you have your
cool.
Facebook pages for Riot Quest and everything. That
Yeah, you
are
can just
very
go to,
active.
you can also just go to privateerpress.com and check out, like, there's tutorials and videos and everything if you just want to see what is all this stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
And we post updates on our streams and stuff to our Facebook channels.
Nice.
Ooh, very
All right.
cool.
Super cool.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank
course.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks
all
for having us
right.
on.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
Got to talk about paint.
Will and Jordan
Yeah.
from Privateer Press introducing a brand new paint line, which is
Yes.
super exciting, as well as showing off some of their many amazing products. You can check them out at
Gorgeous.
Privateer Press.
All
Look them up on the internet. I believe they are there. Also, you can check them out on Twitch on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Wednesdays and Thursdays at 10.
Well, guys, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having
and
us.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you.
back.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for coming in.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was here this time.
Yeah. It was nice to find, like, where is Derek?
Yeah.
Is he gone?
He went into the
He
void.
was on vacation.
Oh,
he's
wait,
on
wait. I
so-
think
it's a
there's
void,
like,
yeah.
what is
Right?
that called when there's like a portal between dimensions and you get sucked into it?
Oh,
Yeah,
New
he's in
Jersey.
the void.
No.
New
no.
Jersey.
Christian, this is your cue.
What? It's Rift.
Yeah!
Oh, Rift!
It's a Rift!
Sorry, I'm a giant Rifts fanatic. Every week I mention it at least once.
Yeah.
Did we just sort of alley-oop something to you softly there?
And it was so soft I didn't notice until Emma pointed it out.
Yeah, had to get the hard.
Guys, I'm sorry I dropped the ball there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for having us on, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
You know where we are.
Yeah.
And we know where you are.
Yes. We know.
And at the
we
very
know
worst,
where-
we'll see you at Gen Con.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah.
you.
Definitely.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks for coming on. All right. Well, we have to move on to something else that's
Yes.
less exciting for me to talk about
Bundles
than that was.
and other stuff.
Bundles
the
and
bundles.
Kickstarters we got to get through. So our bundles this week, we have the Humble Bundle, of course.
Yes.
Yes.
Benefiting this week, Special Effects, a UK-based charity that is making video games more accessible to
Yep.
people who are disabled.
Yes.
Which is a very worthy cause.
Yeah.
And to help that cause out, they are offering Vampires and Werewolves, a World of Darkness. What it is
Is this the World of Darkness?
yes,
Yes.
this is OG World of Darkness stuff.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of the old World of Darkness city and setting source books
Nice.
for both vampire and werewolf.
Yeah.
At the $1 level, you get Rage Across Egypt, Cairo by Night, and you get the $8 version. You get 8 more books.
Yep.
First and second edition of Chicago by Night, World of Darkness Hong Kong, A World of
Wow.
Rage.
Yeah.
$15 level gets you another 7 on top of that.
Wow.
Mexico by Night, Rage Against the Heavens, and New York by Night. Basically, it's $248 worth of books
Woo.
for about $15. It's a
That's
great
a
deal.
lot of.
If you're into old school World of Darkness stuff, Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse,
Yeah.
Mage the Ascension, all of those, including the Wraith and the Changeling, we'll just say they all existed.
They're all
Yeah.
in there.
Or if you want
This is-
historical documents,
This is,
right?
you
just
know,
figure out
even
where it
if
all
you don't
came
play the
from.
game, but you love the lore of that World of
Yeah.
Darkness stuff, this is a great way to find out what that whole era was all about. The era of Gehenna and the fall of the World of Darkness and its changing into the Bloodline system.
Yes.
Cool.
There you go. The bundle of holding this week is another worthy cause. It's going
Yes.
to be benefiting the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, not exploded children like we earlier thought. I
no
would have given money
exploded
to them too. They need the money just as bad as unexploded children.
Oh God.
Okay, so what this is the Deadlands Hell on Earth, which is a bunch of stuff from Pinnacle Entertainment, the Savage World setting, my very favorite game setting as far as rules go.
I love it too.
Yes, and obviously it's Deadlands.
It's
which
Deadlands,
is
yeah.
such a cool setting in and of itself. Old West meets Weird West, gunfighters and zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What more can you really ask for?
It's Future West. I think that's what it is.
Future
Apocalypse
past,
West. Future
weird.
Past Weird West.
The Future Past Weird West, because they have a more modern version of it. This is definitely a past setting kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's this is the original Deadlands Hell on Earth. This is actually the Future Apocalypse spin-off of the original Deadlands.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's great. It's got good mechanics. You use the deck of cards to determine a lot of things like initiative, which is fantastic. It benefits an amazingly good cause.
Yes.
Because we don't want children to be exploited.
Nope.
Or
Or
missing.
exploded.
Or missing.
Or exploded, which this charity does not cover. The player collection is going to cost you $12.95 and includes obviously the classic core rulebook, which is 225 pages, and the Wasted West rulebook, some character sheets, and a nice character journal to go along with it. You get the bigger collection for $26. It comes with 14 more books. Oh my goodness. 4 location source books, 4 adventure books, and 4 figure sets. Figure sets, you say? That sounds like miniatures to me.
That does.
Neat. And that covers our bundles for this week.
Sweet.
Take a look at them at both Humble Bundle and Bundle of Holding, and support your favorite charity, or
Yes.
at least this one for this week.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
This is always good. Oh, also, it is now Kickstarter courting session.
Oh, Kickstarter
Okay.
goes in session. The Kickstarter queens and judges are presiding.
Yes.
What do we have? First, we have 10 hours left. We have Godspeed, which is a space race game in an alternate 1960s universe.
Yes.
Where we discovered a wormhole, and now everyone wants to be on planets, and they're colonizing planets in the 1960s. So.
Yeah, this is a new one from Pandasaurus Games, known for Dinosaur Island and many other amazing games. This is pretty exciting. The theme, the flavor is amazing.
Yeah.
If you just go to the page and read a couple of sentences,
It's great.
right away you get like that 60s vibe, the space race, like it's all very space cowboy-esque, kind of like we're going into space and we're gonna conquer the aliens.
Man, that whole 60s
Right,
attitude.
yes, exactly.
That whole the baby boom generation is really just getting going. America seemed like
Yeah.
we could do no wrong at that point. And, and the sky's the limit, and then certainly it was, and now we're all poor.
There-
And that's fine. We don't blame you.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit. But if you like space and that flavor and like sci-fi, like 60s sci-fi, it's going more science fictional with
Yeah,
it, which I
science
think
fictional.
is really cool. And Pandasaurus just makes amazing games.
It's
Plus, they
definitely-
have a really cool name.
Pandasaurus.
I think Pandasaurus is like maybe one of the
Pandasaurus.
coolest gaming company names out there.
Amazing name, amazing logo too, because it's like a T-Rex. It's a panda or
Pandasaurus.
something.
Or something.
or something.
I think
yeah,
it is a panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pandarex. Panda
So
dinosaur.
that is Godspeed. You said 10 hours left. So
10
that
hours.
closes
Yeah.
today. It's a 9 p.m. shutdown time.
Yeah.
Go get it. Go get it now.
Meow.
So after that, with 1 day left, we have Hierarchy. Hierarchy, an abstract game of order and power.
It's basically you play as different monarchs in your little card deck, and when you play your cards, you have to just basically it's different levels of ascension to gain the throne. Is how I understood
Like
it.
a hierarchy.
Yeah, like a
Like
hierarchy.
a hierarchy. Oh, that's why they call it that.
So this one's totally throwing me off, and I'll have to check in with Jason about this.
Was this why?
Well, yeah, okay. So Jason Tagmeyer, known for Button Shy Games, makes 18-card wallet games. This one is not under Button Shy. I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure they usually are. This one's under Jason Tagmeyer. This one's 17 cards. So first of all, making an 18-card game is very hard, but cutting it down to 17 cards, like one card off, it's like fascinating. It's just like we had to shave off that one card, and it's not under Button Shy because those are 18-card games, but this one's 17 cards. It's very particular, very specific. Yeah.
All right. So there you go.
Yep.
A very, very small card game for a very, very small price. There's 1 day left on that. So
Absolutely.
go and take a look at it. What do we got next?
Carbon City Zero, a deck building game where players race to create the first zero carbon city. So environmentally friendly. Except
All
for
right, so it's like a city building game using
Yeah.
cards, except you're trying to create the smallest carbon footprint you can.
yeah.
Yes. That's the whole aspect of the game. I think the
Sounds
whole
both fun and socially responsible.
Yeah.
It is. That's the whole reason for this game. The creators of this game wanted to slowly introduce the idea to people in a casual, fun way of, hey, this is what you can do to like.
Neat, and they chose paper. Wow.
Yeah.
Fair.
Fair.
But it looks
Same.
like you can also, they have the thing that some Kickstarters do where you can, instead of stretch goals, you can just buy copies for
Yeah.
that will be donated to schools and other groups. So that's super cool. And I mean, that's like, sometimes with education. Like, you do need to be educated for, like, if you play the game, understand, like, maybe it's worth the sacrifice of the paper of the game.
Actually, it just said right here, it's an FSC certified company who ensures their products have the lowest it's reused paper.
Right, so they actually are being socially responsible
They
by
are.
creating this card game
There
by
you go.
making the lowest impact possible. I'm
Yeah.
glad we got to the end of this story, guys. Otherwise, we
Yes.
never would have known.
Never
Yeah,
known.
That's super cool. It makes sense that they had thought about that too, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
of course
they
they did.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like,
when I
"Oh."
first read the top sheet, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And I get to the bottom, and sure enough, they're like, yeah, no, we covered that.
There's people who trade on environmentalism, right? Who use it as a marketing ploy
Yeah.
and don't care that much. So it's cool to see that they have done their homework and they do care about the
They
environment.
were psychic. They were like, oh no, Christian's going to say something about
Yeah.
it. So we better make sure we cover it.
Yeah.
They don't care if I say anything about it.
But the internet will say something.
The
about
internet
it.
will say something.
Yeah, the thing is, if I say it, the internet will say it.
Yeah.
Like, because
'Cause
they thought of it too. I'm not that smart.
Yeah, well, you're the voice of the internet, right?
Yeah,
No.
you're the voice of the
No, I don't understand what the internet says most of the time. All those words and pictures, I
Yeah.
can't put those together.
Yes. Oh, speaking of words and pictures, not a very good segue at all.
No, but I love it.
Arch Ravels.
Arch Ravels.
Arch
It's a good name.
Ravels
Yeah.
is a crafting resource game. So
Yeah.
basically, research, management, and gathering game. You play as like 4 different classes of crafters in the fiber arts industry.
In the
Yeah.
fiber arts industry.
Fiber
Which
arts.
is basically like
Yarn,
knitting,
knitting.
weaving, those kinds of things.
Just pick your favorite fibrous medium to be an artist
Yeah.
in. I'm going to use Raisin Bran.
There. So this one, the theme is just amazing.
Yes.
Like I've seen this around at different shows. Like they've done a very good job marketing, getting the word out there, and just like baskets of yarn, and the characters in it are really cute. And you have recipes where you need different types of yarn to create these things. And I think it's
I heard the word cute.
Yes.
yeah.
Is this it? Is this the one this week?
No,
not quite.
This is
Okay,
not quite.
gotcha.
It's not the cutest.
This is not the
Kickstarter
cutest
game.
Kickstarter
Not
game.
the cutest.
It's close,
kick-
though.
It's very close.
Yeah.
And I also like it that this game also introduces like characters from a multicultural
Yeah.
background.
Yeah.
So it's not just people in the United States. It's also people like where the fabrics are actually being made. So like in
Yeah.
India and stuff like that.
Yeah, another game that's done with awareness. I'm just so happy to see that in a lot of
Yeah.
Kickstarters now. 'Cause
And
in
we're
the past,
we are seeing it more and more and
exactly.
more.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Because before you just have like, oh, like it's a knitting game and it's all
It's
just
become
white
part of the marketing
people.
now.
Yeah. Well,
So
that's
social responsibility is a way to market now,
That's
which
good,
is
yeah.
which is great.
Which
I
is
mean, that means
good.
people are buying it.
Yes.
Which is a good thing.
because it's something that I look for now. If I look for a game and it's all like white dudes, I'm like, I'm not as interested in that game.
But yeah.
Works.
So how you win the game is basically the one who creates the most and sells the most wins. I mean, wow, surprise?
Yeah.
There you go. So whoever knits the most sweaters or makes the most blankets
Yeah.
or
Or like, I think you make a teddy bear too.
yeah, of
you
course
can
you
make
do. You
teddy
can knit a teddy bear.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
That's
things
a
you
thing.
can knit. You can apparently knit around a tree and make tree socks.
Like a tree
Yeah.
koozie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used
Yeah.
to see those in Tacoma all the time.
Yeah, no. I think they rotted away now because it's yarn, but
Oh, yeah, you're right.
yeah,
I've seen that before.
they used
Nice.
there was
Yeah,
a
I know
time
what
where
you're talking about.
all the trees were warm and snuggly.
Then the Ice Age happened and their fur coats fell off, which
Now-
killed the dinosaurs because
Cold
they
and
had
dark.
nothing to wear anymore. They used to wear tree coats.
Oh,
There you go, guys. History and science. I know them both.
Yeah.
dang.
Very historical.
That's Arch Ravels. There's 1 day left on that as well.
Yes.
On to our 2 days left. We've got Root, the tabletop role-playing
a tabletop role-playing
game.
game.
A tabletop role-playing game. If you don't know what these are, they're a bit like board games, but without game boards.
What? What?
Let me explain how these work.
Yeah, so this one was funny because I saw an announcement for it and put it in the news like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then saw that it was a Kickstarter. I'm like, oh, we can't talk about this yet until now, and it's now.
Because now
It's
we've gotten
now.
to the
Yeah.
point where it's funded and it's only got a couple days left. We can talk about it as a product
Yeah.
instead of just Kickstarter, although there are still 2 days left to support it. What it is, it's based on the award-winning Root, a game of woodland might and right board game. So it's a role-playing game based on a board game.
Yep.
Again, it got announced about a year ago, and you know a bit about the company that is
Yeah.
putting it out. So,
So
tell
this
me.
is by Letter Games. Root obviously exploded. I mean, just
Yeah.
absolutely. The combination of these adorable characters, also like very high in contention for most adorable Kickstarter of the week. A lot of adorability.
Very,
this week.
very high.
But then just fascinating asymmetrical gameplay with really interesting social dynamics. And Letter Games previously had Vast, which we actually talked about the expansion on New Release Rundown last week. And I'm like, so Vast is known for being complicatedly asymmetrical. Have they tweaked this? Like, no. Like, they just like the most complicated thing, just like every faction takes an hour to learn. But with Root, you have the factions, but the tutorial is just so good that like it's very accessible.
Good.
And very easy just to hop into. So it has the balance of amazing theme, great characters, and then just like anyone can play this game. So everyone has played this game, and it's got great character, so it makes sense for a role-playing game.
Right,
Yeah.
and so what they're doing with this role-playing game, which is, again, different than the tabletop game, it's going to have a 240-page full-color book, which is what you want in a core book.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, you want lots of pages with lots of information, a nice hardcover, and full color. That means that they're getting good stuff. It's going to have playbooks for all of the sort of classes, your vagabonds, plus rules for 3 of the factions.
Yep.
And a map creation system, which is cool. And the whole thing's going for about $40.
Yeah.
So
bad.
that's a really good deal. You know, it's
all of
right about
that?
what you want to be playing for an RPG, even a high-end one.
Yeah. And you can add on the Roots Travelers and Outsiders, so it's nice to see that they're already doing more content for it.
They've
So
already,
it's not like
basically
a
they added 6 new classes
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
on that content alone.
Yeah, so they're already putting a lot of work and a lot of faith that this is going to be very successful.
Right. Plus,
I
new
think it will be.
factions are going to have new moves. It looks like it's a pretty full game.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and then stuff.
Right.
So equipment cards, laminated maps, custom dice, pretty much everything you could want.
Yeah. So check that out again. There's only 2 days left on that, and it's very popular already. So just
Yeah.
go take a look at it.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, just go look at it. It's
Yeah.
cool.
Next up, we're just going to touch this briefly because there wasn't a ton of information on the page. Mostly what attracted us was the theme of this game. Entropia, the game. 3 days left. Play as a star attempting to form your planetary system. Destroy other systems while building your own. Rule the galaxy and win. So what other game do you play as a star?
I think this might be the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you play as a star. What I think is interesting is the way the game mechanics work. Is it plays a bit like a dating sim.
Yes.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
Yeah, it's dating sim.
It's like you're trying to attract other planets to you,
And then
get
you
them to be
destroy
part of
your
system,
rivals.
and,
Yeah.
and destroying your rivals. This is a dating sim where you play a star. And I think that's kind of just a cool idea for a game. Obviously, it's just they repackaged something that's tried and true and made it interesting to me.
So you're going to
Who
swipe
hates
right.
dating but loves astronomy?
Swipe
Yeah.
right on the black hole. Get that in there, the little mini black hole now outside your solar system.
Well, yeah, I don't want to move too fast.
Too fast. That's commitment right there. That's the commitment.
Yeah.
Again, there are 3 days left on that. It's called Entropia, the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Also want to give a shout out to Sovereign Skies, which is a game I actually played at Gen Con, not this year, but the year before. Really cool, interesting bits to it. It's a bit of a rondel game, worker placement, where you're moving your spaceships around, and very interesting back and forth with how you move, like what direction you're moving around the circle, and another like amazing art. Deepwater Games who've also done things such as Welcome to are really known for the flavor of their games. Beautiful game. And then just also like really satisfying mechanics of collecting stuff and battling over this like planets.
I love the fact that they've been making all these worker placement games and just adding spaceships to them.
Yeah.
I think it makes them more appealing.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can add spaceships to most things.
I
and it
think
will
if you
just
add
be-
spaceships
spaceships
to almost
better.
anything,
I
it
feel
makes
like-
it automatically cooler. It's like pirates in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like anything with spaceships.
Yeah.
You know, I know how we were talking about earlier about like including younger members into like gaming and like if you have
with,
kids.
Yeah.
There's actually a Kickstarter out with 5 days left called The Quest Kids, which is a tabletop game designed specifically for ages 5 and up. So it's simple. It's a simple, easy to pick up game. It's designed for 2 to 4 children to play, and basically it's quick base. It's quick turn based, very colorful, very cutesy kind of art. Instead of killing or fighting the monsters, you scare.
Because it's essentially a dungeon crawler,
It's
right?
essentially a dungeon crawler
Yeah.
game. And you just go around scaring monsters away.
Nice.
And the monsters, of course, are very cartoony, comedic. The really cool thing about this game that I don't think the designers really thought about is that once the rules are explained, you can kind of guess how the game, like what the mechanics are just by the pictures.
Nice.
So it could be a very multilingual game.
Yeah, you were talking about
Yeah,
that.
with less words.
With less words. So this is kind of be like a simple game that you can play with your kids, with your nieces, your nephews, or any kid brother or something like that. And it's like one of those introduce my kids to, dungeon crawlers.
Yeah.
Kinda
And
game.
there really can't be enough of these. I mean, there's some things like No Thank You Evil is another one
My
that's
favorite.
great for playing with kids. And I just think that this is a huge market where just like get these out there, get the kids playing it. So because we have Hawk on, right? And we're talking about kids and role-playing games and how like just the amazing skills that kids can learn from playing these games. All right, and that one has 5 days.
Yes, 5
Up
days.
next, Vamp on the Batwalk.
Vamp
I'm
on
super
the
excited to talk about this one because this is by Gold Nugget Games, who is local to Seattle. A friend of mine who's been in my design group for years at this point. I've seen this game evolve, and it's just been so cool to see. A lot of my friends now are like launching Kickstarters and being successful and getting their games in the world. Just so excited to see. What's so cool about this one is it's a trick-taking game, but Cody's done some amazing creative things differently than your normal trick-taking game. So you have your hand of cards.
Yeah.
They have the suits on them.
Right.
The numbers are facing outwards. Because I'm a vampire
Oh.
and I can't see my reflection in the mirror, so I can't see the numbers on my cards. So everyone else
So
can
the
see
idea is that you're a vampire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can't see your own reflection while you're wearing. But are clothes invisible on vampires if you put them on?
Gosh, let's hope so.
Yeah. Well, then it wouldn't be very well. They're not invisible; they just can't see them in the mirror.
Yeah.
Anyways, the thematics of this is great. The box is actually one of the components. So you have your vampire standees who walk down the Batwalk because they're models.
Like a catwalk.
Like a
Okay,
catwalk.
so these are vampire
fashion
models.
models.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, now this is all making a lot more
Okay,
sense than it
see,
was.
Yeah. So they're walking down, and that's how you track your score. Is you're moving your standees on the back of the box, which has
Yeah.
a little tracker on it. And the standees are amazing. The art is great. The theme of this is very clever, and it's a good game too. So
Vampire models.
yeah, 6 days left on that one. You should definitely check it out.
Ooh.
And our last Kickstarter for the day
Is the cutest Kickstarter game?
is this is the cutest Kickstarter game.
Yes, Back to the Jungle.
This one right here. Okay,
Yeah.
it's called Aegon. There's 7 days
Oh
left
wait, no,
on
no,
it.
no, Back to the Jungle.
Oh, Back to the Jungle.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's a little blurb right there.
we can get to Aegon, but we do have to talk to Back to the Jungle. Your explorer is concerned with
About-
returning chameleons from
Back to the-
captivity.
Oh, that is adorable.
Yes.
They're all rainbow chameleons too.
Yeah, so they have little chameleon faces
Yeah.
on the pogs, on
On the
chips.
pogs, so you
Yeah.
just lay down all these pogs, and when you flip them, you have to try to find the best food source
Yeah.
for the chameleons to eat and
It's
survive.
bugs, by the
You
way.
have to eat a
It's
lot of
bugs.
food.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, but
Oh.
different types of bugs.
Yeah, there's different, because it's fragile ecosystem.
Yeah.
And there's also predators like snakes.
snakes that try and eat. I'm gonna smack a snake if it tries to eat my chameleon.
Is that in the rules? Can you do that?
Did you smack a
I don't know.
snake?
I hope so. But it's cute and adorable. Back to the Jungle has 7 days left.
Yes.
And this is our cutest Kickstarter game of the
This
year.
is
is
our
the
cuter
cutest
Kickstarter
Kickstarter
game.
game.
Yes.
As,
lot of cute
as voted
ones.
by both of you.
Yes.
And the internet probably.
Yes. Internet will
Check it
also
out.
agree.
I mean, yeah, chat. You can go check them out.
There
on
might
your
be a
side
cuter
screen.
Kickstarter game out there this week, but I doubt it.
I doubt it. This
I
might
doubt
be
it. We would have found it by now.
Now, actually,
Okay.
for the super last
Yeah.
Kickstarter,
Yeah.
this is called Aegon.
Yeah.
And this is a fast-paced tabletop role-playing game set in the mythical Greek
Very, very, very Greek flavored.
Yes.
Greek-
Very Greek.
Very Greek
Roman,
flavored.
Greco-Roman.
Greco-Roman, yeah.
Greco-Roman. I was like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Mythical.
Mythical. So
That's really the word.
kind of play as heroes trying to go through a pathway like the Odyssey.
Oh.
So you go
yeah.
island hopping
Ooh, fun.
to
Try to get home
try to get
before
home.
everybody marries your wife.
Yes. Which is what the Odyssey is actually about, which is kind of weird.
But yeah, no, it's so kind of one of the cool things is I'm not really too sure how this game mechanic works, but it has a one roll resolution.
Yes.
So when you go onto an island, I think this is like a fail forward kind of game. So you go there and you encounter like a one-eyed troll, for example. As a group, you roll dice.
Never mind.
At the same time.
At the same time. And, you know, if you happen to beat the troll's dice, then you win, and whoever has the highest dice is gained more glory, is how I believe that how it works.
Nice.
Yeah, because this is by Evil Hat, but doesn't use the fate system.
Which
No,
is
it
which is
doesn't.
weird because
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of the stuff that they put out uses the fate system, and
Right.
I'm a big fan of the fate system.
Yeah.
So
But
this
this is not.
this
is
has got
different.
me,
How do you
this
feel
has got
about
me
it?
hesitating. It's changing.
It's weird. It's different. It's
My
new.
middle-aged
I don't know
white
if I
guy
like it.
sensibilities are shaking inside. I don't know what to do.
Change. But yeah, no, I'm not actually too sure about the pricing. I forgot about.
Check it out.
Yeah, just check it
Take
out.
a look. I think
Seven
there's a
outs.
Kickstarter for it. It's got a week left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, people like this game. I like the idea of a one-roll resolution. Like
Yeah.
that's always really fun. It takes time off of the whole combat thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially with games like the Fate system, which they use, it's designed to move quickly.
Yeah.
This looks like they may have even like shaved off even more time
Yeah.
of that. They made everything down to one roll.
I just like that. I think it's already, honestly, kind of difficult to get people to play a new system, right?
It
so
is.
anything you can do to just be like, look, we just literally have to. You don't have to do a ton of learning. Like it's all pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roll the die. Okay, now you're dead.
Yeah.
There you go. Simple and
Nailed
easy.
it.
I don't know. I also like the idea of fail forward games.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah. So it's,
know-
it's you just get maimed. You don't die. You're just like a one-armed sailor.
The story
Yeah.
continues, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The story must continue.
Until they cut off more.
For the
limbs.
good of all, so we can get home to our wife before everyone marries her.
Yeah.
We all have the same wife.
I think it depends on the character. Yeah.
And also your
I mean, if you're
dog.
anybody but Odysseus in that story, things are not going to look good for you. You're going to end up as a pig or eaten by a one-eyed troll, as you call them.
Right? The Cyclops. I just forgot the
Everything
name.
I know about the Odyssey I learned from Wishbone. So.
Saddest
That's totally
thing
fair.
was
Yeah.
that
That
the
little
gosh-
dog taught us all a lot. God bless him.
Yeah.
Speaking of dogs, wasn't his like dog like super old, and then he saw his master's like finally dead?
Dying.
Like that's the thing.
In the Odyssey.
Odysseus' dog
Oh, yeah.
stays alive the whole time, and then the dog sees him and then dies.
Well, yeah, it was an old dog. He was
Yeah.
lost for 10 years.
That's really sad. Why
But
do we
it's-
always have to talk about the dogs dying? That's
You're
like
right.
the second time this
I'm sorry.
show.
How about the exploding kittens?
Maybe he was just scared away.
Well, guys, that's it for
yeah.
Table Takes presented by Gen Con this week. Happy Friday, everybody. Don't worry, we will be back every Friday from now on. And don't forget to stick around for the new release rundown. We got Ellie from Mox Boarding House coming in to show us all the latest and greatest. See you next time. Have a good weekend.
Bye.